This schematic maps the ABCD framework. It converges AI risk scoring, universal biometrics, digital currencies, and digital identity into a centralized data stream. As this infrastructure expands, planners assume closing operational loopholes guarantees universal compliance. Historical and sociological data suggests otherwise. Comprehensive financial administrative systems structurally fail to achieve 100% assimilation. These systems instead produce an embedded remnant, conscientious subcollectives that reproduce their identities directly beneath the system's monitoring surface. These populations survive by maintaining superficial, formal compliance while operating an alternative core structure. This occurs at the compliance surface, the integrated locus where state incentives, algorithmic coercion, and cultural pressure co-deploy. A citizen's visible signature on this surface determines their algorithmic eligibility for services and their administrative legibility to the state. This forces a structural choice for refusers: pursue a total physical exit or adapt to live inside the architecture on their own terms. Non-participation in central bank digital currencies is a structurally predictable mutation forced by the design of the architecture itself. The M by N framework maps how architectural pressure dictates coping repertoires across 30 unique historical scenarios. Totalitarian regimes represent the extreme left of the continuum, employing massive physical suppression to align their populations. Stalinist Russia provides a primary historical case study for the totalitarian suppression of religious subcollectives. The state criminalized the visible practice of religion, forcing active sacramental networks to move underground. The Maoist Cultural Revolution created a parallel totalitarian environment, systematically dissolving open church institutions and civic organizations. Groups in these regimes responded by adopting decentralized micro-cell structures and compartmentalizing their operational knowledge. The repressive theocratic column, exemplified by the Iberian Inquisition, represents a distinct regime type targeting doctrinal enforcement. Sephardic Jewish populations utilized surface conversion, coupled with generations-long underground persistence. Across diverse historical settings, maximum state pressure forces subcollectives to optimize their topologies for concealment. The framework's analytical engine is the trade-off between administrative discoverability and subcollective cohesion. The data shows that as a regime's monitoring pressure increases, the target group must proportionally increase its internal structural intensity to maintain equilibrium. Survival requires lowering the group's discoverability surface through intense operational discipline and out-of-band communication. This creates a specific requirement for cash, barter, and informal market substrates to keep financial activity off the state ledger. To counter the resulting isolation, groups raise their cohesion by relying on kinship networks and intense generational pedagogy. Operational friction is the inevitable price of survival. Deep theological or communitarian cohesion provides the only reliable fuel to sustain a group through it. The surveillance state of East Germany provides the most instructive precedent for modern digital tracking. Pervasive informant networks forced populations to adopt strict informational discipline and selective disclosure protocols. Counter-economic substrates and shadow economies achieved sustained survival beneath the Stasi's informational surface. For modern dissident groups, survival depends on the strict management of information flow rather than physical or geographic isolation. We can apply these mechanics to the final column of the matrix, the contemporary algorithmic administrative column. The subcollectives facing this architecture include theologically grounded refuser communities and technical cypherpunk groups. In this system, algorithmic enforcement acts at the scale of individual transactions through programmable money primitives and automated smart contracts. The ABCD architecture initially coaxes participation through convenience differentials, offering programmable rebates and frictionless commerce to pull users onto the ledger. Modern groups will likely maintain formal outward compliance for basic needs, while conducting critical operations through off-ledger, out-of-band channels. Self-custody wallets and privacy-preserving cryptographic protocols serve as the technical analogs to historical underground churches. The resulting network is a hybrid entity, fusing cutting-edge cryptography with ancient kinship-based trust networks. Financial planners are currently facing a choice between two operating postures: enforcement or accommodation. An enforcement posture utilizes account-level revocation, asset freezing, and tiered KYC gating to mandate participation. The historical framework shows that coercive pressure causes tightly bound communities to increase their internal cohesion and sever their ties with the state. When the digital perimeter becomes hostile, groups are incentivized to move economic activity into the shadows. Universal participation under this method is structurally infeasible at any acceptable political or economic cost. Deploying comprehensive enforcement is self-undermining. It creates a hardened, illegible parallel society that the state can no longer monitor. The alternative is an accommodation posture, utilizing regulatory safe harbors, conscience exemptions, and the preservation of cash substrates. This posture relies on interface populations, individuals who buffer the core community from direct enforcement contact and smooth perimeter friction. Across metrics of long-run macroeconomic and political stability, accommodation outperforms enforcement by reducing systemic friction. This results in a stable, bifurcated ecosystem, a highly efficient algorithmic center alongside durable, self-contained networks functioning on the periphery. The embedded remnant is an inescapable feature of comprehensive administration. Policymakers must choose now, force an escalating contest, or build an architecture capable of accommodating it.